Good evening, everyone. We are in a hotel room shaped pod tonight, so we've got a couple of beds to sit on, very relaxed. Ben's got the only chair in the room, and there are a number of people with us. So tonight we are joined by Ben the Bass, Tom the Tank. Oh no, Tom the Tank. Tom the Tank. Tom the Tank. Loads of tanks. Tommy Tank, and what's a majig wazza? I think we'll have to call you, won't we? First appearance on the podcast, Dan. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he'll add something more than that, maybe. So, we are halfway through our Warhammer Fest extravaganza, and so tonight we're going to bring you a calm, well thought out, reasonable review of the things we've seen. No, that's not true. So, we got very excited. So, as normal, we will do the hobby desk. Ben has some horrendous lies to tell about how he got on in games against me. Then we'll go into the Galaxy of War, where some very... It's a micro-Galaxy of War, I suppose, in some ways. Adeptus Titanicus has been reviewed in bloody August! And, so that's coming out to be talked about. The Mortal Realms, and there's some news about maybe a new edition of Age of Sigmar, perhaps. So we'll talk about that as well. Into the community, well, Ben will do the rundown of all the cool events that he has put on to the computer, because I still haven't worked out how to do it, honest. And lastly, Into the Wilds, an awesome card game that I actually won, so that's definitely got to be purchased. So that's everything? That's everything. Good. So thank you for joining us. It's going to be quite emotional, I think it's fair to say. So we will go on to the hobby desk.
Hi guys!
Wait. Wow. It's been pointed out that I forgot to say, grab some refreshments.
It's a bit
and
late.
It's not late.
That's a record, guys. You've actually interrupted me and I haven't even said something.
Yeah, but if people are going to listen to you talking, they need some caffeine. So, give them a chance.
Where do you go from there? So, hobby desk. We've got a fair few things to talk about. There's 4 or 5 of us in the room, so we're going to give everyone a shot. I think we ought to start with Ben and his Golden Demon entry. I think that sounds like a pretty impressive start.
Thanks for that.
Oh, that's your welcome.
I think we spoke about it last time I was on the podcast briefly. You said the hobby plans was going to be to have a go at entering Golden Demon. And it's got in today. It's sitting on the shelf in the cabinet with a few other entries. I'm sure lots more will arrive tomorrow.
Yeah.
Spent the last bits and pieces, the last 6 weeks on it. And stayed up till 3 o'clock last night and wanted to get it finished before we drove up here.
It looks amazing though. It totally fits on the cabinet.
Yeah.
Well up there with the standard, I think, personally.
Yeah, the aim was to not be embarrassed by putting it in there. Like I'm happy it's finished. Definitely. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it again. We'll see what happens. But I'd love... The aim would be, it'd be amazing if I could get a finalist pen out of it. I'd be properly chuffed with that. That
would be. I think it deserves a finalist pin. We're looking at the ones that are there. It's certainly up there in that kind of area. Considering you're Ben the Bass, it has absolutely got a stunning bass. It is.
It's the funnest bit to do. That's why. That's the easiest. Yeah, it's use all sorts of stuff on that.
And the trees on it. Did you paint them or did you just leave them?
No, leave them. If you find ones that look good enough real, leave them like it. Because when did I pick them off? End of winter, so they still had kind of all the growths on it from over the winter months. Yeah, just added a little bit of snowflock onto it.
You had to do anything to that to stop it, like...
I dried them out, so I normally stick them in the oven.
Right. Do you freeze them too? Because some people do that.
I haven't heard about that, because I don't know, maybe the time of year it was anyway, because I took them out from freezing cold outside, so... But, no, I just stick them in the oven and make sure they're dried out. So there's no moisture left in them. That's it. Makes the room smell funny.
My green wash smells like herbs from when I washed them. It really freaks me out every time I open it up. Yeah.
I remember we did that in the shop once. We told someone they wanted to have easy leaf litter, and we did that, and the whole shop stank of it for a week.
Like the whole orc box smells like herbs. So.
But to make sure you get some pictures for the show
Well,
notes.
yeah, definitely. Because it is really remarkable. I think it's great. I think for me, it presents a model perfectly. It's the whole base. It really is really good at framing the model. Aces. So who's next?
Tom bought a flippin' super heavy beast.
the biggest
The Stray
Fine.
is super heavy. Yeah, cannot wait. Just gotta smash through these fulminators, clear the painting desk, and crack on.
Smash
What's
through the
your,
fulminators, just like my brutes did.
Oh, that's not
Mush, mush, bash the
They were
monster.
having a good day until they came up against those brutes. Just like my liberators were having a good day. Because how many turns did it take you to get through the brutes? The liberators even? Oh, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
No.
it was like fighting a tank.
So, yeah, gonna paint them up for that. Blood Angels, and I cannot wait.
So it's a big chunk of resin. So how do you find working with resin?
I usually just get used to it, Dan, because it really irritates me. Super gluing.
You've done loads of the tanks and stuff yourself.
No, I have. No, it's just like, I don't mind it, it's just washing it and prepping it. When you get past that stage, it's, straightforward, but it's just, it can be a massive faff doing it, but
It's
actually,
a big old beast as well.
big old beastie. I've not even opened the box yet, so I don't know all of the different parts.
It's like one of
Interesting.
on the cabinets today. It's one of the few things that takes up a whole shelf. There's nothing else on the display shelf, and it's really unique.
It's very unique, yeah.
Nothing like it out there, is there? Which is something I think the Forge World are doing a lot more nowadays. Like the Sisters of Silence transport and that. They're going right outside of the box and to the sort of limits of what, using the same design cues. You can see bits of everything in that. I can't remember the name of it, which is not a surprise, really.
Yeah.
But I would be pretty nervous tackling it, I think.
Oh, you just, bit by bit, is the best way to handle anything from Forge World. Just bit by bit, keep glossing, and just make sure, if you scrubbed it once and you think it needs another scrub it again, and then just to make sure, scrub it a third time. Because there is nothing worse than trying to do a stripe where you haven't scrubbed it enough. You pull the tape off and half the paint comes off with it.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well,
That will make you cry.
Yeah. Have you done that before?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always cry.
Oh, man. So, what else is on your hobby desk? Your formulators doing, but are they your first fantasy models then?
First stage of Sigmar models since the release of the game? No, they're not. Iron Jewels. I did my candy red Iron Jewels with Tamiya Clears. I did. Oh, it's amazing. I've discovered the Vallejo Game Air metals.
Yeah.
I've gone really bright and then a real light coat of Tamiya red. Oh, yeah. Sparkling. I was really happy with them.
Awesome. And I think your formulator's looking awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Nice bright colours.
That was the plan. Make them pop. Keep it bright.
Which is the exact opposite of how I paint, really.
You've gone dark.
Yeah.
You paint to match my soul. Everything's dark.
No one's going to believe that, except for me. But I like painting. I like having a realistic style. So when Necromunda is probably my perfect medium because I love that kind of grungy look to it. I find my Escher probably, but we're outside of that box, I think, a little bit because they were a lot cleaner than I would consider painting a Necromunda model. Whereas with the guy, I went straight back to just grunging them up, lots of grub. Didn't even highlight the blue paints on those, the blue plate armour on that. Just kept it with the way they're in. Yeah. How about so I heard you painted a phoenix there.
Sort of. So I worked out that I've been collecting Wood Elves and Wanderers for 18 years on and off now, and I've never had sort of the 2,000 point or 2,400 point list that I wanted fully painted and completed until now. So that's really great to have that all done. And And now there's a new edition, so that will all go out the window, and it won't be the list that I want, and I'll start again from scratch, and that'll be another 18 years.
Well, with the Legends release, everyone's getting new rule sets, aren't they?
Mm.
So you might end up with a completely different Get and Fish. Well,
I'm happy with it.
That's Deep Kid, isn't it? Sorry.
But yeah,
that's my joke of the evening.
I did do a Phoenix with a little help from my friends. So Tom airbrushed it, and Dan pinned it for me.
With a power drill.
And I've been getting lots of good feedback from it. A couple of people came up to the table today and said they really liked it when I was playing. And of course I took all the credit.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a lovely centrepiece.
And
it's nice for you because so much of your army is infantry.
Yeah.
Which looks lovely. However, the game has got a lot of big miniatures in it now, and that's one of the driving things from Age of
Well, that's
Sigmar.
exactly what I wanted. So that's why it's on the tree, and I've done a bit more for the base
scale,
just to make it a bit. And it stands a bit higher than the normal Phoenix as well.
Does
So
it?
it just has a bit more presence.
I think,
Luckily, Dan's got about 15 foot of flying stand rod, so I could have had it as high as I
But
wanted.
why have you got that?
Well, when I...
Was this a project that you were going to do?
What happened was... my friend Denzel Pember... No. Anyway, so when I was getting into Drop Zone Commander... I decided, because in that game, things are flying either 2 inches or 6 inches, and you move between them as part of the game mechanic.
Yeah.
And I decided I wanted to have everything have 2 different flying heights, 2 and 6. So I got loads of Hawk widgets, which I fell in love with. And then I looked up on the internet to buy some longer lengths of flying rod, and all that Litco and all those companies, it was quite expensive. And I thought, well, surely you could just buy acrylic rod. So I went onto eBay, and the next thing that happened is 10 meters of it turned up at my house. So I have enough 3mm acrylic rod. So if anybody needs any 3mm acrylic rod for any projects, just message us.
You've definitely learnt your lesson over the last few years as well, haven't you?
Oh, because the bar.
Yeah, a whole bag of garden bark.
Do you actually read the scarf?
Oh, and the other bark, yeah. Well, who knows how much? That was because that bark you ordered by weight, and I'm like, well, how much does bark weigh? I don't want to order a little bit and then be like, oh, I've got to order some more. Naturally, 2 kilos. That turns out that's a lot of bark.
Where have you put it all?
So it's in the shed, like in a
In a bin,
box.
like one of those great big weedy
sealed
bins filled
box.
with bark.
Yeah. Dan borrowed some of my bark the other day.
Yeah, there's a bit of bark on my base.
You've got to be well stocked when you've got like hobbyists.
So about
around.
5 grams gone now. So
Yeah.
It'll take another 50 years to get through.
Yeah, well.
Biodegrade by then, I think.
Yeah.
And how about yourself then? What have you been on for?
Love Orcs.
Still.
No, so I've been away this week, so I haven't done any painting this last week. But I am still working on Blood Bowl Orcs. I've got their skin, the metal, and all their like teeth and eyes and stuff to do, and transfers. And I am going to do. I wasn't, but I pretty much decided I'm going to do a little bit of chipping on the armour.
So hang on, just to clarify, the metal isn't their armour.
No, the metal is
Because
like
if
all
it's
their...
the skin, the teeth, and the metal is the armour, that's the whole model.
No. Thanks very much.
It's alright.
So metal trim and stuff.
Yeah.
So that needs doing. But to be honest, I hate them. Like I love them when they're done and they look nice, but they're like, I hate them.
They're taking such a long
sit
time.
there and stare
every
at
time
me.
I come round, they're just on the painting table.
They're just sat there, aren't they? So
On the hobby desk.
So yeah, they need to get done. But they will get done soon. They need to be done by August, definitely. Well ahead of that, really, because I need to get some more chaos stuff. Because I took a load of Nurgle stuff back and got a load more corn because I'm trying to branch out.
So out of interest, when you get Titanicus, are they going to be red and gold? Or are you going to throw them right out there and go for Purple and gold.
I don't know. I was thinking of actually converting one with a chain axe in one hand, potentially. And I played some games.
That can't
And
be
moving
anything
on.
you painted. 3 weeks.
They've been 3 weeks.
Yeah, because I'd done. It is. Did I finish? I think I finished the Arcanites before we spoke last.
No, you were going to, weren't you? And then you put
Oh, that's right, because I said
Yeah,
that
they
by the
would
next
be
recording I'd finish them and the Blood Bowl Orcs. Well, I didn't do the Blood Bowl Orcs, but I did finish the Arcanites.
Yeah.
So they're done.
And they're really nice.
And I did a new base for the Stormcast Eternal I've got for Silver Tower.
Yeah.
I'm quite enjoying doing the marble. I want to try something a bit different though, because what I've noticed, so my marble is like white with veins in.
Yeah.
But looking around, some of the more realistic painted marble has got like variations in that white.
Did you want to try it like I said, with the clay?
No, because that sounds like more effort.
No, it's really, like, I'll do it for you, I'll show you.
You'll do it for me. Right, I want to try
You
that
can
way
cut it
that
up
you're
and put
doing.
You can cut it up and put it on the base, but it takes half an hour to make
It is quite nice though. I like...
Well, mixing up like a ball of fire metal.
So you get your head right, okay, get your colours that you want, twist them up and put them and roll them together, flatten it out, put it on a piece of glass, perspex, so you get a smooth side, bake it for a bit and peel it off and you get a smooth, shiny, perfect side to it.
There we are.
Cool idea. It's like how they make sticks of rock.
So it's quite hard to get a perfect circle, but if you put a little bit of like texture paint around the edges to make it look like it's sitting on dirt or something, done.
There we are.
Give that a go.
You can choose whatever colour
Good
you want.
idea.
Could be red.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, just be red, and red, and then I'll twist it all together and it'll just be red.
Yeah. Tell me about your new t-shirt. Blood for the Blood.
Blood for the Blood God t-shirt that I said I would get, and a mug. I got a mug as well today at Warhammer Fest. Really went crazy.
Who did you see today?
Oh, I saw a Corn Berserker today. Guy dressed as a Corn Berserker.
It was good as well.
Yeah, it was.
And the Chaos, the Corn Chaos Warrior.
Yeah, it was very good. And I thought the Death Company guy was really good as well. Well, they're all cool.
I didn't get enough. That's the first time I've seen Tau cosplay, and I didn't really get a chance to go up and have a good old look at that, because I bet that's quite hard to make.
That Chaos one, the Fantasy Chaos Warrior chat, that detail on that was brilliant.
That was really good.
Fantastic.
It was really, really good.
So what about you then?
So I finished my Escher. They're all done. Quite happy with how they turned out, actually. Lots of mistakes turned into actual decisions, like the hair ended up being lots of different shades of hair because I didn't like how the first hair turned out. Which I then think actually worked quite well across the gang. And then I've done my Goliath, which went round your house, saw the Goliath I painted for you on the shelf and got all nostalgic and thought, oh, I want to do one like that. Went home and started painting one in yellow and I thought, no, I can't do that. It's just stupid and pathetic. So got the first paint that came out of the box, which was
Decadon's Scale Green, right?
yeah, which isn't green.
No.
The record it's not. I'm
It's
sorry.
a deep dark blue.
It really isn't green. And sort of had a moment because Joe had been using it on a Sylvaneth and thought that's not green. I'm going to paint it on the model and see what it's like, and then painted it on. I thought, oh, I really like that actually, and that's how that turned out. And orange trousers, and then green hair because apparently green hair is the thing of the month for me. But I'm quite chuffed with how they turned out as well, actually, because...
But the actual reason it's green hair is quite interesting, because you used a bit of colour theory, didn't you?
Well, I looked at them, and I knew that they needed to have green hair, and I got the Colour Theory app, or the Colour Wheel app, which I really like, actually, and I will share a link for, because it's free. And that was the spot colour, the accent colour for the sort of darky blue and orange. The green was the spot colour, so yeah, it ended up being the right choice. And that was quite an interesting one because I had 2 weeks to paint them on my schedule because I did that schedule, and I really made decisions as I was going along to speed things up and bits that I would cut out. So I haven't fine highlighted any of the leather. I've just sort of taken it up to a level and then done none of the edge highlighting because I thought, well, I have only got this Thursday to do them. to finish them off, and they weren't going to get done if I did that. So, and then actually when I finished them, I put them on the shelf and said that's done. I was happy with them. So, right, got an interesting sort of circle completed with that timetable.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of you guys use timetables, or is it just me?
No, Dan's
try and
got
get
his,
things. Yeah, you got a 2-week one, haven't you?
I thought you had the next 8 years
Yeah,
planned.
he's got a few.
I worked out that based on a 2-week scheduler, I had 3 years worth to work through. What
would you say was 2 weeks' work for you?
Well, the problem I'm having is that I'm struggling to get any kind of consistency to paint in time.
Yeah.
Some weeks I can get a few hours, some weeks I can get none. Or what I'm having to do is give up gaming time to do painting time.
Yeah.
To get one game night. I was pretty regularly doing Wednesday nights gaming. But then I wasn't getting anything painted. It's just tough. At the moment, it's just like, I'm sure lots of people listening will understand this. Like we've said before, we can talk a lot about family aspect, and it's just really tough to fit it in around having Joshua and Harriet and work.
Yeah,
it's finding the time. So
big change that I've made has been to take my painting inside onto the kitchen table and have stuff for the kids to paint.
Yeah, so
turn it into family time.
Joshua would just paint the kitchen table.
Yeah. I've watched how he
does climb up though. He has climbed up on the paint desk and he picks up the orcs and moves them around, which is quite funny. And he started picking them up. I had a load of bases out and he started picking them up and putting them on the bases, which I thought was quite cool. So just, bit at a time. Start the indoctrination.
You could let him battle damage him, couldn't you? Bit of sponge, silver paint.
Yeah, hammer. All good. But no, that's just the way it is. I remember when I was living back in Plymouth and setting up a gaming club with friend Ant. At the time, his first kid, Callum, was about the age of Joshua, and he was always saying, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I can't help very much. I can't do this because I've got the kid." And I really remember as time went on, and he gradually started to be able to do more with his hobby and stuff. So it just cycles. Yeah, just does little cycles. So that's fine. So to answer your question, it's how long is a piece of string, really? 2 weeks?
Yeah. I think that's the same for everyone, isn't it? I mean, sometimes you can be super productive and just seem to glide to a model. And then sometimes a unit can just really grate and you're like, why is this not going fast? And what am I doing wrong? And then you start to doubt the decisions you've made, like the colour choices and the techniques you've used for different bits, and they all just end up on the shelf.
So when did you want to talk about your games?
Yeah, we'll do that now. It's a good idea. Because we went to Bristol Independent Gaming Age of Sigmar tournament, and I had a really good time. I had a brilliant time. I found out I'm not as crap at Age of Sigmar as I thought I would be. And so there's 4 games. I thought it was going to be 3. I thought I really liked 1,000 points, actually. Was it an hour and a half? 2 hours? 2 hours.
Yeah, for some of us it was less. Depending on how well we were doing.
Yeah, no, I quite liked it because Tenebris was the same number of 3 games, and they were long games, 2,000 points, and really, I was exhausted by the end of that. I don't know about you guys. You also
it was really that first day was a long day.
Yeah, but I got to the end of that 4 games, and I could have done another 2 or 3. I reckon. I really enjoyed it. So I lost my first one, got absolutely stomped by Zinch. Charged across the table, completely overextended my line, and he just wiped out all my best units and used my own foot of Gork on my war boss, which is just rude.
I think it's
dirty Zinch dirtiness.
I think it's completely acceptable.
We'll come back to that in a sec. And then my second game wasn't against you, was it? It was against you, wasn't it? Dan, I played you second.
Was it?
Last.
Yeah. And who won that?
Nobody won.
No.
Except for you.
But that was due entirely because I got off the most ridiculous foot of Gork, I think, I could possibly have done. 24 mortal wounds on one of your best units was pretty savage. Much you could do against that. It's embarrassing after the 4th time we got a 4.
You seem to be fine with it at the time.
I was kind of suppressing my inner glee at the same time. I thought, no, I can't be overexcited that now I'm above 20. But that was quite good. Apart from the scenery, I found made that quite a hard game, balancing the orcs across. We had quite an extended line on that, didn't we? I found that quite hard. And then your Stormcast Tales, Tom. That line of hate that just refused to die, threw everything at it for like 6 turns. 2+ save, re-rolling is
Incredible.
filth. No, filth. Filth is the
It's
word.
incredible. That's how you do it.
Managed to win that one. So, and then my last game was against Death, who only had he had 2 units of 5 direwolves, and then 3 massive models. So the Death, the Corpse Cart, a vampire on a zombie dragon, whatever that's called now, and Nagash's little hench dude on the
Ark in the Black.
There you go. See, the other people would know the names of this stuff. And I beat him only because I managed to get the first turn, get the charge across, kill his units that could hold his objectives, burn his objectives, and then he didn't have a chance really to earn the victory points to come back. His army was terrifying. That vampire was horrific. He completely tabled me within 4 turns, but it didn't make any difference points-wise. Which comes back to something you said earlier, Dan, about got to play the objectives rather than the army.
Yeah, I experienced that quite a lot in my games. I think a lot of people came to that tournament with an idea to play armies, and there were lots of, like you said, Arkan and a zombie dragon in one army.
Yeah.
There's Lords of Change and all these kinds of big, scary monsters, but then actually, did they bring enough units to hold objectives?
Which this guy clearly hadn't. 2 units of 5 direwolves was just not going to cut. But I think the thing I was really most chuffed about was I managed to win the Best Painted, which I was really super chuffed about that.
Well deserved, mate.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. Looked really good.
Nice guys. Yeah.
Really good. Very well deserved that. So I won a model that was given to me under the guise of I need some help in my army, so I'm going to give you a model. Which was great. So I came a mighty 12 out of 12. My first game I lost. My second game lost. Third game lost. Fourth game, lost. That one. So, and 2 of those games I killed nothing, got no points. But by the end of the day, this is ridiculous. I was very frustrated. But I've spoken to Dan about it quite a bit and thought about it. And to be honest, I just didn't give it any thought at all. I had this big unit of unwieldy bloodletters that I struggled to use. I just didn't turn up and I didn't even know what some of my units were doing. I got some rules wrong because I hadn't read the war scroll properly. So yeah, it was probably a well-deserved 12, if I'm honest. And I've got some plans, so it's
I was going to say, you've gone away and thought about it, and you've bought some...
Yeah, what's sitting on that bed next year?
Very thematic Gaunt Summoner
Yes, and
to go with my army.
very
I
corn.
think our listeners would love to hear why your army is now... Your corn army is now got Gaunt Summoner.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I'm fed up and losing.
Oh, there we go. Fair enough.
So yeah, I've gone away and thought about it and had a chat with Dan a bit and tried to come up with some ways to look at the army. You did all right, mine, didn't you? Dan?
Yeah, I was pleased with how I did. So my first game was against Skaven, which I won. But again, it just came down to, so he had a siege weapon, a hero, 2 units of 3 rat ogres, and 40 clan rats. And the 40 clan rats are the only thing that could really hold an objective. And a lot of my games were like that, really. The most interesting game was my second game, which was against Sylvaneth. And in the first turn, I killed one hero. And then in the second turn, I killed his other hero. This was in Duality of Death. So he had no heroes. Mm-hmm. But he had one on one objective when I killed it. So he scored 1 point. And then in his turn, he rocked over all his Colonel Hunters and killed mine outright. And then we called it the first turn of turn 3 with 1 point.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was so tense. I think a lot of my games were quite tense. I was quite stressed out by the end of it. I know, Ben, you said you could have gone another 10 rounds, but I think I was just wiped out by the end.
The thing is, though, with your army, you really have to play the game, don't you? Because you've got Wanderers, so they're not...
They don't have a book.
They don't have a book, which says a lot. And you have to give a lot of thought to what you're doing.
I have a book, and it's got 4 things in it, so...
But the kind of list building and the theory hammer is part of the hobby that really appeals to me.
Yeah.
And I think having an army like Wanderers that can be a bit of a challenge, I just have kind of embraced that quite a lot.
Yeah.
My third game, I played that army that was the 10 dire wolves and the zombie dragon. And again, they suffered from exactly the same problem, where I've got 2 units of 20 Glade Guard and I've got 2 units of 10 Eternal Guard, and I can always hold the objectives against them. I killed the zombie dragon in turn 1 with my arcane box.
How did you do that? Because, that thing was ridiculous.
Well, Glade Guard can shoot at Rend 3 for a turn, and I had 40 of them.
That'll do it.
So that took that off turn 1, and then Arkan was on an objective, but I just fed him the 40 Glade Guard and held it for the rest of the game. I inspired them. And then my last game...
Die.
Yeah, you've done your Rend shots, now, just go and hold something or try. And then my last game was against Zinch, which was a really interesting game. The Zinch list was amazing. I hadn't played Zinch before, and I didn't realise how much damage they could do.
In both the magic and the shooting phase.
And the combat phase. It's in every phase. And I got tabled completely. My whole army got taken off. But it was one of those ones where, again, I think he came to play my army, and the way he played, he forgot about his objective. So there was one next to a Balewind Vortex that was set up 4 inches away, and you had to be within 3 inches to claim it.
Yeah.
And then as he moved towards me, he moved off an objective that allowed me to take it. And then I just started building up points. But he did come across, wipe out my entire army and burn all my objectives. But he just, I think, got carried away with trying to destroy my army rather than take objectives.
And that had the Lord Change, didn't it?
Yeah. And the Gaunt Summoner that's inspired Dan.
That was Chris Thurston from Millie's Monthly, wasn't it? Who played the Zinch.
Yeah. Really nicely painted army as well.
It was, actually. He got a lot of it knocked out like the day or two before.
So in the end, I took third. I think everyone had 9 points who in the top 3, but I just couldn't. Although I was effective for a turn with my Arcane Bodkins, I couldn't kill enough of people's armies. I could kill a centerpiece, which was quite satisfying. But I couldn't get around to killing enough of the army, so in the end I came third. But I was really happy with that.
Third is awesome, though.
Yeah, really happy.
I did hear a rumour you were asking what the last thing they got finished painted was, so that was your target.
No comment.
And on that bombshell, as you'll notice, some of the segments will be a little longer because there are 5 of us and there's a lot to talk about and a lot of excitement. But unless my wonderful bearded assistant has anything he wishes to add, I think we shall move. I actually genuinely do want some refreshments, so I'm going to make a
you're
coffee.
the one who's running to the car.
I'm not going to the car, there's a kettle right there. So, anyway, very professional as ever, we're going into the Galaxy of War. Right, welcome back to the grim, far distant future which right now is not looking quite so grim, because flippin' Titanicus is coming and it looks incredible.
Yeah.
So, yesterday, on the way, no, was it
No, it was this morning, dude.
This morning, I get confused. There was like a little leaked picture. No, it was yesterday.
It was last night.
Of the setup with Titanicus. And actually, I posted a few days ago that I was worried it would just be about the computer game. It is not about the computer game. We went into the hall today. Oh my flipping goodness.
Made a big day for the Forge World.
Straight in. Oh, mate. It's amazing. So, we've seen Warlord Titans. We've seen Reaver Titans. We've seen Knights. Modular terrain. Multiple ways, or 2 ways to buy the stuff. So you can buy the rulebook separately and buy the bits you want. There's going to be a big box, and you get a couple of Titans in there. All the rules, some terrain, 6 knights in there as well. But just incredible. The detail is all pulled down from the bigger scale to the smaller scale. So you've got all the posability in there that you would have. The weapons, they've actually done, where they've digitally redone them, they've put holes in so you can put magnets into them. So you can magnetize the weapons, which is fantastic. You get a little control panel for controlling your Titan with little pegs in for reactor, so you can overcharge your reactors, put more power into your guns or into your walk-in.
I think he's excited.
I'm flipping so excited about this game. It's ridiculous. It's gorgeous. And what's really nice is I remember speaking to Tony Cottrell about it at an open day quite some time ago, and he talked about they were really delaying it a bit because they really wanted to make the Titans plastic and they wanted to make the plastic buildings. And you can see all that stuff that they desired to have is coming out. It's August as well, so it's only right around the corner. They're doing some baseboards for it as well. I was so excited. After I'd seen that,
it's a very interesting game as well because they've talked about it being on 4x4.
Yep.
You don't really need a great number of models.
No, so they were suggesting maybe 5 models and a group of knights, 6 to 12 knights.
5 Titans and 6 to 12 knights. Which you'll get a significant chunk of if you buy the box set. You'll get your 2 warlords, really.
And you'll get your 6
you get 6 knights, yeah. So you only add in Reavers and Warhammers after that. But it is a crunchy game. It is all about detail. And they
didn't hide that, did they? They said it's
very... They're not frightened of that. In fact, they're proud of it, I think. And so that's going to be really interesting. What I'm quite intrigued by is it sounds like you only have full control over the Titan that your Princeps Majoris is in. And you're giving orders to the other Titans, so you don't have total control over all of the others.
Yes, because when we saw a couple of years ago, we went to the Weekender, they were playing the rules are now, but at the full scale with the full Titans, and they showed us a control panel and said, and when you orders, depending which parts start breaking down and damaging, so if it's their ability to take orders, then they might not follow them properly and things like that. So you can damage different parts of the Titan.
That's wicked. That is wicked.
It's the imagery. I really like the idea of them striding forward and building up the buildings. So we've already said amongst us, when we buy our sets, paint the buildings the same, and then we can get together and make flipping cool cityscapes.
So it's worth talking about the scenery. The scenery is designed to be like Lego. So
Lego but better, Tony said.
Yeah. So you'll be able to literally build it out of the components to make anything from ground level buildings effectively to walloping great spires, which is, I think, sounds really cool. The boards look amazing, but they weren't. In fact, he said the whole set that they had out, there isn't a thing there which has been scratch built or modified. It's all purchasable, which was great.
The only things we did see on some of the bases, they've got smaller versions of the crates to make look like scenery. So you've got the containers for 40k.
Yeah.
They'd made a couple, and they were hoping, depending on demand, they might be able to look at doing things in the future for that. That's what Mr. Bedford said.
Big shipping containers.
Yeah, they had some tiny ones for basing and stuff like that.
And they want to do objectives, possibly add-on kits for the buildings, so you can have ruined ones and such. What's quite exciting now with it being all digital is pretty much any kit can be rescaled.
Yeah. That is really cool, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And it's in 8mm, and there's been a lot of talk about that, but when you see the models up in person, it's the right scale for them.
Oh, yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah.
They're big enough that you get the detail, they're small enough that it's still Titanicus. The Warlord is possibly going to be one of my favourite plastic kits of the last 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
It has all of the feel of the giant Warlord. I know that sounds bizarre, but it does feel like the same model, which is really cool, just not as big. It's going to be the most expensive box game they've ever released.
Yeah, we're pegging around 150.
Yeah.
That's where we're estimating.
So they kept comparing the Warlord Titan to a Knight, so it's about 70 quid. So I think that's what we're going to be looking at. And the box of Knights for a squad of Terminators is kind of roughly what we're saying. So I think you're looking at 140 quid just for the 2 Warlords, and then another 60 quid for the 2 Terminators. There's been no idea of the price for the scenery, or in fact how much scenery you get in the box.
But then also remember, if you wanted just to get the rulebook, you can buy all the Titans separately, straight off the bat.
They have said, so the box set, essentially you get a free Warlord Titan.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about the box set is you don't get to do this very often, is that you can use everything for yourself. So, like he said, if you don't like the Orcs in Black Reach, a lot of people swap the Orcs, or swap the Death Guard, or the Primaris, and get the army that they want. This one, it is, and the sprue has got bits to make them the different legions as well, so it's just going to be pretty cool. The box set for me, I think, is really interesting because the original Titanicus was the first boxed role-playing game with models ever. It was a groundbreaker. It is kind of the grandfather of every box set we've ever had since. So the new one, the fact that it is got something about it, which has got more in and it's more expensive than anything's come before it. Although I think that's pretty cool. It benchmarks it again, doesn't it?
I was really impressed by how much stuff they had there to see today.
It's almost like everyone in the whole department, like everybody, had a Warlord Titan that they painted, didn't they? Did you notice that? There was one in almost every cabinet. So they've gone around the Forge World team and just sort of thrown sprues at people and gone paint them. And they were just stunning. Really, really nice.
Massively impressed, that seems a fair point to say, by what we've seen today of Warhammer Fest that we hadn't seen.
Yeah. They kept it really quiet.
Yeah, which is a departure from previously how I felt at this point.
And I was getting a bit grouchy this morning in the car, because every 5 minutes, you're like, oh, no, this and that, and they've snuck in this, and there's a photograph of the table, and it's going to be Titanicus, and there's shots from the cabinet from... It didn't matter. Because there was so much there. I was running around like a child in a candy shop, and it's brilliant. So August. We've got enough time to clear our tables before we get to it.
No.
Yeah.
But I will anyway.
There's something I should mention. They've purposely designed them to fit magnets. So when they do the upgraded weapons options, they've already made it. It's just easy. They've done it with that intent.
I think that's great.
I think it's fantastic.
Really
it's a big departure from the expectation, you want a new weapon, you just buy another Titan.
One of the things I am surprised that we haven't seen a Warhound today. As much as it's really cool to see in the others, I am surprised that they haven't shown that.
But I think, so Tony said in the seminar, one of the seminars we were in, we can't show you all of this because then we'll have nothing cool to show you until whenever. Yeah. And I think it's part of that. I think reality is the tooling time and all the rest of it on what we've seen today is significant.
Yeah.
So they want to keep some stuff back to keep that excitement running.
But they're talking about Titans we've never seen before.
Yeah. I mean, they were talking about that 2 years ago when I went to Fest.
And they also confirmed today that they will do the other races in the future. So the Eldar Titans, the Orc Titans, but not yet.
Just as significantly far off. Well, they should change because originally when they talked about it, they said they have no intention. Today he said, we will, but when they mentioned Epic, No.
Probably because we've asked it so
the
many
epic
times.
quote has to be repeated. If we want epic, just stand on a ladder and play 40k. That's what we say.
I think it's like all of these things. I actually said to a couple of people, because we were stood around looking at it, and they were asking about, will you be doing things for Eldar and stuff? And it's like, oh yeah, we would like to. I said, you know the best thing you can do? Go out and buy this. Because that's the thing, it just depends what gets bought. So Blood Bowl, they keep saying, and every time, the intention was maybe 6 to 12 months. They just bring out the game, a couple of bits, but it's been so popular, and it's generated so much income and money that it's warranted carrying on. And it's the same with Necromunda.
Yeah.
It's the same with the Middle Earth team. And it will be the same with Titanicus. If people engage with it and play it and get on board with it, then it will continue to grow. They've got all the ideas. It's just having the finance and the justification for getting them out there. I think it's quite interesting that the Middle Earth team, I don't know whether it's to do with the licenses in it, etc., but like, they haven't done any new plastic kits. They've kept stuff in resin and stuff. So is that an indication that that's a much smaller...
I think it's to do with the fact that the plastic, like he said, is like mithril in the company, because to have the time and the resources to do it, the access to the presses, their team isn't big enough yet to do that. I think if the Middle Earth strategy game, which we'll come on to a bit later, I should think, takes off, then that will change big time. But I mean, you just mentioned Necromunda, and one of the things that really excited me today is when they were talking about Necromunda, doing the old Necromunda again is, as far as they're concerned at the moment, like the starting point. So once all of the old gangs are done, that's just the beginning. That is kind of the first step. They're talking about the other hives, the wastelands, the sumps, the whole lot. And that will keep going as long as people keep supporting it.
We need to get Dan to play Titanicus.
I think I could be swayed.
Yeah.
The models were much more impressive than I thought they would be. Like you said, Ben, it just looks exactly like.
Yeah. There isn't much lost, is there? Really?
No, nothing. I didn't think.
And we talked to the I've forgotten his name, the designer, the younger lad, quite a lot, and he said the way he's tried to do the kits and where they've been engineered is they're going to be as posable as a knight. So if you want to do slightly different movements and things, you can do it, which is great. So it means you can have your own very unique little bits, make it look your own.
Yeah. All of the Titans come with the 2 builds, don't they? So you have the easy build, which is quite mono pose. And there's like instruction on how to cut bits off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do the cabling and that.
It's a bit like the Redemptor is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
something Mark said as well is that they purposely, when they put them on the sprues, is that the bits where they connect to the sprue are hidden. So if you want to paint them on it, like get your airbrush out, get your spray cans out, you can do it very quickly and stick them straight on.
Such a good idea.
Which is brilliant.
Best thing about magnet holes as well. They're like pre-drill holes, so you just stick the rod in and you don't need to drill anything.
Yeah, because one of the things I always find a pain when I'm trying to magnetise is actually you need to drill in a bit further than you want the magnet, because obviously a drill is pointed, isn't it? Yeah. So it's nice to have that. That's so good.
Yeah, and he said 5 by 1, didn't he?
On the Warlord. I don't know
about the other size, yeah.
But what I'm interested in is whether they'll glue together without magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be
because there's a hole. Don't be an idiot.
If you can magnetise it, you can glue it, can't you?
Oh, well, if you've got 2 holes on either side...
It's only tiny little ones.
It's not a hole, is it?
Massive magnets.
So, when we go in tomorrow, ask them to lift one of the missiles up. You know that whole surface area?
Yeah.
It's only the very centre, which is where the magnet hole is.
I'm thinking more of the arms.
And you think it's all plastic as well, so it only needs, like...
It doesn't need to be...
magnet.
Yeah, what they said, they're just explaining it properly. Just calling you an idiot. That's why we've got some backup this time. Because I just can't put up with it anymore.
There hasn't been much else. There hasn't been any 40k today.
No, so that's been really interesting. So we saw the Rogue Trader thing, but not today. We saw that that sort of appeared, hasn't it?
Yeah. But that was a bit of a shame, actually. Because that came out and there's 2 dodgy photos where we have no idea where they come from. And then the team released the video, which has clearly been done because they hate having dodgy photos circulating. So they've gone, well, actually, here's the real deal. I kind of felt that was probably going to be released today, or that
possibly, or
talked about today.
It'll be interesting. So last year, which it has to be said, there was markedly less new unseen things at last year's fest. On the Sunday, there were other things, a couple of other things that appeared. The Redemptor Dread was on. So I am really interested to see what we see tomorrow. There's I don't believe there's a new releases and previews seminar.
No, there isn't.
So I don't think we'll see anything much, but I'd be happily proved wrong. But whether we'll see anything before, because I suppose I got the feeling like we're quite, obviously Dan, you're very much Age of Sigmar, but everyone else, we pretty much got a hand in any game that Games Workshop make. So it's easy for us to be like, oh yeah, that's good. But if you only played 40k, which is a significant number of people, you wouldn't really have seen anything. Yeah. Which sounds a funny thing to say because they've shown us loads, and we're really great for that.
That Rogue Trader thing is a big deal though, because
I think Adeptus Titanicus is enough.
But it's not 40k.
It is a different game, but it will get people in because people see the Warlord model. It's like, oh my goodness.
We did get a bit from Ford Rod though. I know not from Citadel, but there was a few. They talked about the next campaign book from them is going to have Custodes and Sisters and stuff in.
Blood Angels and Scales. Yeah.
That's for the Heresy, and they got the new Necron constructs they've shown off.
We've got the Death Watch.
Oh, the Codex and that's just
and we haven't spoken about that, have we? I keep forgetting what we've had Codex-wise, but when they talk about the Primaris mixed squads, that is superb. Because that is exactly what... When the Death Watch came out, I don't think I spoke about it. I think I started that before the podcast, but for me that was a really big book because it allowed me to use all of the bits of crap that I just have in bits boxes and think, I don't want to collect an army of Blood Angels, sorry. But I have Blood Angel bits, but I will make with joy a Blood Angel Death Watch and stick it in a squad, and I can label my love onto that one model. And now you can do it with Primaris and have mixed Primaris squads. I mean, the concept of having like an aggressor in the same squad as Reavers, for example, is ridiculously cool. You're not going to charge that, are you? Well, you might be, you're mad. But I think that's really exciting. I really like that book.
But they sold out.
Yeah, shut up. They sold out really quickly.
Yeah, they sold out this morning.
Yeah. They sold out a lot of stuff, actually. Spike magazine, gone. Which was really cool, we should have covered, but we'll think about that later, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I suppose we have just had Death Watch and Harlequins.
Yeah, I saw the book in a glass cabinet, but no one was allowed to have a look inside it.
Yeah, Harlequins. Yeah.
We saw the Eldar Webway Gate as well.
The Eldar Webway Gate.
Superb. That is superb. It's so nice that I half expect the sort of Wraith Knight thing on the side to step off and walk away from it. It's almost like it could be detachable. It's really, really nice. I'm really hoping they're going to do more of that kind of army-specific scenery. In fact, they were saying...
They said the Nurgle tree, what's it called? Was like they're dipping the toe in the water, and it worked so well that they're doing it now.
But I think the reason the Narmor did well is because they made rules for it that made it viable, and it's in 2 game systems. Like, it underpins a Nurgle army, doesn't it?
And it's free to summon for Nurgles as well.
Yeah, so they've made it
worth taking.
Really worth taking. So I think it's key that they keep doing that with terrain pieces. Keep the turnover. And then you've got the ship.
It's so thematic when you take that army that has that, so like you can see the Nurgle corrupting the scenery and you can see the tides washing up the shipwrecks and things. It just really adds something, and I think it's great that that's happening in all the games that they're making them.
Because as an Eldar player, you'd want Eldar scenery. And as an Orc player, you want Orc scenery.
I hope they bring out a pile of dead Space Wolf corpses for 1,000 Suns. That would be so good! Totally needed.
You can just buy
Totally
the
needed.
box set and chop them up with.
No, that's a lot of effort. I just want a pile. That'd be great. But Weathergate-wise, important to say Ben's going to do his Eldar again.
Yeah, I'm very tempted to get the Eldar back up for that. I want to do the... What's the Ivy called? The twisting one they sell.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The Ivy?
I do that rather because my Eldar are quite...
Vines,
They've
that
got
would be
vines and
so
stuff on the
good.
basis anyway, so that's got to happen.
That would be so good.
I'm interested to know whether you could paint those and have the paint not crack when you bent them. Because everywhere I've seen them used, I would hate to have to paint them in situ.
Yeah. Like that, there's a table done today where they put it all over ruins, and it looked phenomenal, but the only thing I could think of looking at it was picking out all the vines.
You just have to try it, won't you?
Yeah.
Well, acrylic is flexible.
Maybe not that much.
No, but enough, I think.
We'll just try it. I'm quite happy to have a go if I ever get around to it.
I've got some vines.
Well, okay, I'll do it.
I believe in a previous podcast I've thrown them over my shoulder.
Yes, you have.
We've got 3 boxes of skulls.
Oh. Yeah.
2 kilograms of bark.
There's another trend here.
That is nothing. Wait until Titanicus comes out.
So let's talk about Rogue Trader, because I think that is an exciting avenue. A lot of the Inquisitor 28 guys are quite excited about it, because it seems to be like the first step of Kill Team. And it looks like a role-play kind of skirmish game, so it might well be like a bit of a crossover to the Inquisitor thing. But the box set itself, which is becoming a bit of a cliche now every time they release them, but the models are absolutely fantastic. But they're completely different.
It's brand, and it's just the direction they've gone with the models. I was never expecting it. And it's easy, people say, oh, they're corrupted Nurgle, but they're not. Just the way they've done them, they're fantastic.
It's like Nurgle.
It's like they've taken John Blanchard's artwork and made it into modern day fantastic miniatures.
Yeah. I think before I've seen that, somebody said to me, more Nurgle. I'd go, well, more Nurgle.
What are you
They
on
do.
about?
They've done
Yeah.
so much Nurgle. There's surely nothing more. Oh, yes, there is. This box set full of awesome Nurgle. You've got the little kind of Nurgle puppies.
Yeah.
There's little tiny flies.
Yeah,
as well.
little tiny bases of flies and the big dudes with the... Oh, it's so good. But then, also on the Rogue Trader side, you've got what looks like Enforcers. I guess they're kind of ship's crew or something.
Yeah, security details or whatever.
Security detail. You've got the Assassin, you've got the Rogue Trader themselves. It's a really exciting box set. And I was talking today to the guy who sculpted the Necromunda models, the Bounty Hunters. And we're talking about... I asked him about the technology, because in Necromunda, they don't look the same as 40k technology, but they are the same. If you said that's a plasma gun, it's obviously a plasma gun, but they're different designs. And he was saying that actually it's something they really wanted to do with Necromunda, was show that there is a diversity of design across the Imperium, and the Necromunda has its own unique feel, and even across the planet, it's got, different places will have different styles of technology. But you will still be able to look at it and go, that's a las gun, that's a plasma gun, that's a bolt gun, that's a chain axe, that kind of stuff. And I think with the Rogue Trader, it's exactly the same thing. You look at them, they're very obviously 40k, but they're a completely different style entirely, design style. So I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited that they've actually gone and done a completely new thing rather than gone, here's a Kill Team book. Why did they say they were going to fully support it in this? I'm not really surprised. We shouldn't be surprised.
I don't think we'll be seeing it till October at the very earliest, though.
No.
Because it says at the end, they weren't intending to show us this early.
No.
It's late 2018, so Christmas. Just in time to get Titanicus finished.
That's the thing.
I think Titanicus will be quite quick. think.
Well, I suppose, yeah, I mean...
I think all of the armour panels come separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Same way you paint a knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's two of them, but...
Two's not enough.
Two's not enough. You're doing theories of twos.
Your theory,
yeah. You can't just have, like, 2 Reavers, 2 Warlords. You've got to expand with each sort of level.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 2 Warlords, you need at least 4 Reavers.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
need at least 8 Warhounds. Or at least 6 Warhammers, so you need to sort of expand out.
That's the point of maniples, aren't they, as well?
I would like a
full
Warlord,
of
a Reaver, and 2 Warhounds, and then a bunch of Knights.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not feeling big enough. I want, like, 10 Warlords. And I want to get them all on a table. We all just get loads of Warlords, and then one day we just go to Warhammer World and go, right, this is how you play a miniatures game.
Have you read
Look at all of these Warlords.
Have you read Titanicus?
Yeah.
Where the guy who's in command of the maniple links all of the Warlord Titans into his targeting matrix, so they can target the Imperator's shield in one exact place and hit and overwhelm it in that one exact place. It's so good, so thematic, because it's completely against all of their principles, because their mind could be melted by it, and all of the Titans could go a little bit funky. But he has the he has the sort of mental strength to do it, so he does it, brings them all into command, and just blats this Imperator shield. But there must have been at least 8 or 9 Warlords firing at that thing. And all the Warlord Titans are like, who's this guy? Because when a Princeps goes into a Titan, it takes a while for the Titan to accept them and sort of trust them and respect them. So this guy was able to bring all of these Warlord Titans in and go, no, you will listen to me, even if it's just for 30 seconds. Target that point, fire, done. Right, now you can all go back. And all these Titans were like, yeah, alright, I suppose. So it's a really good book. Might have to reread it before I play Titanicus.
Day before the pre-orders go up. That'd be really safe.
We find out that 150 was a vast underestimate. So when I came downstairs the other day, I went, Joe, £180 on Deepkin is reasonable? No, okay, it's not reasonable. No. So £300 on Update. This is reasonable? No. Awesome. Shall we move on to the Mortal Realms?
Yes!
Not that we've done this recording this out of order at all, but...
We mixed up the audits. We're exciting folk like that.
Just to confuse ourselves.
So yes, let's go on to the Mortal Realms.
I love it when you talk about the Mortal Realms, Ben. That's my favourite part of the whole podcast, because I remember podcast number 1 where you were just like, oh, I hate Age of Sigmar.
I never actually said those words. There might have been an undertone. Hi guys, welcome back, and we're in the Mortal Realms, and it's been a pretty busy day for Mortal Realms. So we're going to try and talk through as much as we can, and get some reactions from everyone. So where should we start? This might as well get that article from Warhammer Community and work our way through it.
All I would say is if we have ever got any problems, we are just going to open another chamber.
Yeah, that video is outstanding.
Absolutely brilliant. So, while Ben's flicking, I'm going to get really excited! As I often do. There are new Stormcast. They have some kind of gas, chemical weapons. They've got a bloody repeater, heavy bolter
Soul-sucking
thing. Oh, yeah. There's one sucking the soul out of someone, which is pretty awesome. Basically, the Ordinator, the chamber he's from, the Sacrosanct Chamber, has been grown. So now they have wizards as well.
They've got
more
heavy
beasties.
bolter.
Yeah, the heavy bolter thing. More beasties, which is great. And these are up against new death models, which, flipping Nora. I was thinking about how, what more can you do to, add to, you got skeletons, zombies, it's amazing. Just within Nighthaunt, they've done it again. So you had, I said about this when they did Daughters of Cain,
Blowing up
and
a single unit.
taking a thing and just expanding on it. They did it before that. What did they do it?
Well, Iron Jaws has come out of our boy.
Well, Iron Jaws, Iron Jaws.
Fire Slayers.
Fire Slayers was completely fresh, wasn't it?
Well, you know, but I mean, you still took the idea of a Slayer and just
Sylvaneth, that's one. Yeah, where they just went warm and made it rain. So it's just amazing, the different variety. The black coach is just stunning. But what I love is this whole thing where Nagash is really rousing himself now, and he is flipping livid that Sigmar is been stealing souls, essentially. So it's quite a vengeance war. There's a lot of emotion behind them coming in and saying, right, you lot, we are having you back. And it presents an interesting thing for Stormcast, who are immortal, except they've sort of started fearing the fact that when they get reborn, they'll lose something. But now there's a real chance of actual permanent.
Well, you've got a bit of a soul war going on, haven't you? Because the Deepkin are soul stealing. Nagash obviously just is like a soul vacuum cleaner. But then the new Stormcast, there's clearly she is absolutely sucking a soul out of that thing on the floor. Whatever, it's a chaos thing.
It looks like a chaos.
So I mean, they're kind of bringing in their soul stealing or soul capturing, or
I wonder if she's taking that soul
to purify.
Yeah,
to be reforged.
I
thought they were like, oh, you were a good warrior, we'll take you.
Yeah, because they opened that sort of gate with was it Torglug?
Yeah,
who became
the Nurgle one.
Who got reforged. So that's totally possible.
One of the things I like that they've done with it is goes back to really early undead ranges where there's not just humans now. There's clearly Skaven in that new range. Whereas before they had Skaven and Orcs and all sorts of different skeletons. They were little metal ones. In fact, I've got a couple of them. But I really like that. Getting a diversity of models out.
The idea is though, like the one with the hangman noose above him, as he floating on, it's just fantastic.
And you could not have made that model in metal.
No.
Or even resin, I don't think.
I had a chat with the designers about that actually, and we just talked about how, because plastic is so light, it just really helps you make those dynamic poses. And they were talking about the freedom as well that they get, that it's not rank and file.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the guy that designed the Namati Thralls
and
these new death models about that. And it's just great. If you think about the models, I mean, I have some older models that are very sort of rank and file in my army, and this new stuff is just amazing.
They're all very forward-facing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Their weapons are all close into their body, and now they've sort of opened themselves out into their bases.
I think it'll present some real challenges for transport. Those that I picked up a couple, and they're so spindly.
Yeah.
Like they're beautiful, beautiful models, but I don't think even. I think you'd have to. Well, I would certainly do it the way I've been doing it with the magnets to keep any pressure off the model completely.
I had a chat earlier with Mike about that though, and said I think that's the way all the armies are going because they're so dynamic and they're getting bigger generally.
Magnetised cases.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. It's going to be, especially like you said, they're so light and spindly. But then even in new Stormcast, some of those weapons are at all sorts of angles, aren't they?
And some of those weapons, I mean, even the standard Stormcast hammer from the current box set, if that breaks off, that is a bugger to pin. It really is. Having just done one, my son broke it off. But 2 new paints to go with that death range that we were loving to look at.
Oh, the hobby guys were just. They had loads of stuff to show off over there. New objectives.
Which are
really nice. I think they're significantly better than the 40k ones myself.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, I liked the 40k ones a lot.
They were nice, but even just the quality of the plastic. So I was looking at the ones, because I was chatting to I can't remember his name, it's awful, but that's not unusual for us, is it? To not remember something. So, chatting to the chap about where the actual stuff was being cast and produced, and because I know previously scenery kits, especially that have come in from overseas, haven't been produced overseas, the quality hasn't been as good, and they've changed their supplier, and the stuff is really nice. So there's those. And then there's a range of different dice. Command dice, scenery dice.
Glow-in-the-dark dice.
Glow-in-the-dark dice. New combat games.
I can't work out why you would need glow-in-the-dark dice, but it almost doesn't matter.
Absolutely not.
No.
You reckon you get some glow-in-the-dark paint to your Nighthawk?
Do you know one year, not quite glow-in-the-dark, but when we did a Games Day board, when I was working in Truro, I think, we did a Chaos Horde and painted all their weapons and stuff with UV nail varnish.
Yeah.
And then we did the board, and before we put the static grass on, put like chaos symbols and stuff in this UV nail varnish. So then, when we were playing the game, we set up a UV light, and all of the weapons of all the Marauders, and on the board, these symbols were glowing. There we go. Just a bit random, but
Well, for my City of Death board with the lights and
so you
stuff.
want to put the lights and all in.
Turn the light off and I'll glow in the dark dice.
Yeah. So yeah, they had loads of cracking
And the
stuff.
scenery dice, because we were talking about scenery dice when we played and how much of a pain in the butt it is to have the table out, roll the dice, allocate them. And the old set only had 6 in.
The third party set was 6 for £10.
Yeah.
And realistically, so the rules suggest 1 to 2 pieces per 2 foot square. So on a 4x4, that's 8 dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you've got your realm gates, which use 2 each as well.
Yeah.
So it's
So
20 dice.
you need quite a few. So this is 20 in a set for approximately £12. 12 to £15. Wasn't sure. Because to be fair, the guy I was chatting to was the designer, not the guy that chose the prices point. So yeah, they were. It was really good, wasn't it?
And the
Really
2
good
paints
stuff.
are great. I've not
Yeah.
dwell on them too much, but they're 2 washes effectively. They're technical paints, really high in pigment. The blue one, it had it done over black, and you could still see the pigment over black, which is almost as if you painted it on. It was really quite phenomenal, actually. And then a green one to do like the spirit kind of look, which a lot of people have been using. Nihilux.
Yeah, I asked him about that, and he said it's they're both quite similar to that. They said the actual green one's closer in makeup to a shade, except for the fact it doesn't behave like one. He said it's quite hard to try, and he talked about it. He said, yeah, it's essentially very similar, but because it glows so much, there's so much colour on it, they actually do different makeup for it.
It stains tints that, it's quite strongly, doesn't it? So that's 2 paints that are going to make painting death. Malignance, quite.
Well, it's great to see that as well. When they're bringing out armies, they're really thinking of it from lots of different angles.
Yeah.
So we've mentioned in that we've seen some cool new dice, including command dice, which gives us to think about the rules.
Yeah.
So the 2nd edition was announced today. Unfortunately, we were too late to get into the seminar for the big announcements.
So too late. We were in like the first
I
50
know,
minutes of the
but
queue.
everybody
Already
wants to see the
booked
new
out,
stuff, don't they? So, but rules-wise, we've heard a few things. So, Dan, you mentioned that you'd heard a couple of bits.
I had heard a couple of bits. I was really interested to find out as much about the rules as I could. So I went up to the 2nd floor exhibition where there are the guys who work on the rules and made a beeline straight over there.
Rugby tackled the dude. And
Started chatting to a guy
him.
about rules. He wasn't telling me anything, and I was like, oh, well, maybe they've been told not to say anything. Then I looked up. He was from the Army Painting Studio. This whole bloke I've just been chatting to for 15 minutes badgering about rules that I haven't worked on that. But in my first game that I played, Throne of Skulls, one of the guys had been to the seminar before the first game, and he spoke to me about shooting is going to change. So you will not, if you are in combat, you will only be able to shoot into the combat that you are in. And he also talked about command abilities. So every one of your heroes will be able to use their command ability.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost so soon. That's why we got the dice.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting for that as well is I'm going to be looking at allies potentially and seeing what happens. I know there's on the Grand Alliance forum there's I don't know if they do it for every faction, but on Order they've got a list of every model that affects other Order models. So I'll be having a little look through that and just seeing what effects I can do and what more dirty shenanigans I can add to my army that I finished. But that's all I know so far. But I think magic as well.
Yeah, it looks like there's me some. So there's models coming out to represent magical effects.
But no foot or gall. What's that about?
It's because the greenskins are completely overpowered and need nothing further.
I
Totally.
want a big foot.
You've got a massive maw from the realm of beast that you're like charging towards.
You've got to paint it metal and have it a literal iron jaw.
Sprayed like the dudes from Mad Max. No? It's just me.
It's interesting because the last time we saw like magical effects staying in play and actually represented by something you could buy was in the Storm of Magic when you had the globe thing, half globe things, the vortex around the board. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. There's a glowy skull which looks amazing. That purple thing is huge.
Well, because before we didn't
And
have
very
anything to put it
weird.
into scale, and now it's like the size of a Redemptor Dreadnought.
Tennis
It's
ball,
absolutely massive.
I really hope, and it looks like it might be, that folds into the core rules and adds a whole new element to the game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that they add on as a sideline don't really get played as much, I find. Like,
No, well, it's hard enough to get to play the scenery rules, isn't it? You know, although that's a lot to do with remembering what's going on. I keep thinking I must print out like a little sheet.
I find not a lot of people bother with the scenery rules. So when we played it big, I just left it up to my opponent. I said, "Do you play them? Do you want to?" And 50% said no.
Yeah.
And today, both my opponents said no.
But then the thing is, I was listening. So normally I don't play with them, so I forget them partway through or what have you. But actually, I was listening to AOS Shorts after my disastrous outing in a desperate attempt to understand what was going on.
You were following their catch line. Get better fast.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes.
Yes. And I listened to most of them, to be honest, and they talked about the scenery and how, you know, it is important which side you pick and to try and you can use it. You can very much use it to benefit your army or to put them at a disadvantage. And I'm thinking, well, that's a whole segment we don't really use.
Yeah, he basically assumes that you always play with it as well, doesn't he? He doesn't see it.
But then why wouldn't you? Because it's a bit like
it's just
the scenery. It's like you wouldn't play without the movement phase, so why would you not?
Yeah, so I mean, that's
different
what
countries have different sort of.
It's part of the core rules.
Yeah.
It's quite an obvious and key part, isn't it?
So yes, it would be nice if, as Dan says, that becomes a core part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because Magic has often in the past been an add-on, really. You think back to the Magic box sets, you know, right at the start, the third, fourth and fifth edition, just a great big box of cards.
But it's interesting because when Warhammer Fantasy moved into 6th edition, I think, basically when Magic came back into the core rulebook, using the 2 dice system, one of the reasons was that because Magic was too unwieldy, with all the cards and all the governance. So, and Age of Sigmar is supposed to be streamlined and not unwieldy. So it will be interesting to see how they've handled it, to add it if it is an add-on with all the extra bits and pieces. I don't have any doubt I'm going to love it, because I just love everything.
It doesn't have to be more than a paragraph in the main rules, though. And then all the additional rules will just be on the war scroll or on the cards, whatever, won't they? So I don't think it'll be too much.
Because I'm going to need to know now, because my corner, they're on it with the Magic. They've made friends. One very powerful friend. So yeah, it was really exciting to see that. It's always nice, actually, talking to a few people, lucky enough to know a few people up and around the design studio area who are also really excited about it. Yeah. There's so much excitement. It's like all the staff seem to have this buzz about them at the moment.
They're holding something back as well.
Oh, yes, of course they are.
When we spoke to the heavy metal guys, he told us that he started painting those Stormcast last fest. When they started on them. That's just painting them, so that's nothing to do with design. That's just getting them in the shop.
Yeah. So
I couldn't do it. I could not keep that to myself. Like everyone I know.
Oh, the new starter box, Stormcast and Nighthorn, that people are talking about, is I'm 100%, well, I'm 99% sure that it's coming out, because when I spoke to the designer, in the cabinet they have the two armies next to each other, and I said to him, they would look nice in a starter set, wouldn't they? And he said, I cannot say anything to you, but the look on his face when I said the word starter set just made me think that with the new edition that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of them looked like they were very small number of pieces.
Yeah, I thought that. I looked at some earlier and I thought, these have that look about them.
Yeah.
The sort of...
Which would be incredible, because that Death Army is, if that is in the starter set, even some of them, that is phenomenal.
Well, it also gives two armies to potentially new players, new people to experiment in the painting, that are quick to get completed and on the table. Because actually, the Khorne
were quite hard, really.
Yeah, especially the Blood Reapers.
Yeah.
For a unit which actually, in the game, doesn't bring many points to the table, etc. All that skin is a lot of work. So that would be very good to see. So that's June. So that's next month.
One of the things I quite liked about that is that the amount of thought that's gone into this Age of Sigmar this year, because Malign Portents was as much about setting the scene for this, as well as getting people's armies ready for this. I now feel completely ready to embrace a new box set, whereas if I hadn't had Malign Portents, I'd be sitting there thinking, I'll probably buy it because I'll buy all the box sets and not even bother with it. But now I'm in a completely different state of mind with it.
It sounds like there's going to be a proper rulebook this time.
Yeah.
But I don't mean proper rulebook in that it's going to have loads of rules in it. But the last rulebook had a little bit of rules at the end, but it was a bit patchy because it had a bit of background and
it was a narrative campaign, really, the hardback rulebook, wasn't it?
This one I think is going to be more like a traditional.
Well, some of the maps that they've previewed today, and he talks about the maps in the video, are just awesome. And that's the sort of stuff I've been waiting for. And I think they've listened and thought, well, actually, what people want is for them to flesh out the Mortal Realms a little bit, to give you some concept of what these actually are, and so you can start hanging your own narratives off things. And I think that's what you're going to get. I think you're going to get a book of background, like you have with 40k book, rather than like a narrative campaign, which is essentially what the current one is. Has that covered everything that you just said?
Khorne Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge. That's Smaug huge.
It's bigger than Smaug.
You reckon?
Yeah, in terms of the weight of it. Yeah.
It's like Smaug's been to the gym, isn't it?
Yeah. He's been bench
just
pressed goals.
I was just thinking of the giant centerpieces they had. They're obviously, I just loved them. I wish they did. Do you know the old Space Marine, Waterworld Space Marine?
Yeah.
I'd love it if they did a Sigmar.
Well, I think they should. They do those big up cast things. They have them in the cabinets almost every Games Day in Fest. They're like the upscale mock-ups or whatever done in resin. So I guess it's so they can do that and look at it and see if they're happy with the sort of the way the model looks in physical form before they make it plastic.
Not even going down that road.
What?
Is it anatomically correct?
But I think they should release those because they're so awesome.
I'm gonna people listening that know about these things will be like, oh, come on, you idiot, what are you talking about? But I don't know why. Do they just print them to look cool now? Because once upon a time you needed a 3-up.
Yeah.
But now it's digital. I don't think they need them.
I still think
just print them for looking cool.
I think if I was a designer, I'd still want a physical object in my hand to look at rather than on the screen. So you can see whether it is what you thought it was going to be. Because there is a sense of detachment from a computer screen. I'm watching the guys do some of the work today on those wicked, like, Paint Shop Pro screens that...
If only there was an opportunity to... If only there was an opportunity to speak to somebody who might know,
we'll ask them tomorrow.
Like tomorrow.
Yeah, because I think people would buy them for sure. The 3-ups. But where would we go with that? We're on the dragon. Yeah, the dragon.
We were talking about the dragon.
Yeah.
Tom wants this big ass dragon.
The 3-up of the dragon would fill this room. That'd be incredible. That's like
I don't know.
For me, the dragon's too big. It's nice. It's a lovely model, and it'd be lovely to have at home on the shelf. But I wouldn't want to play with it. It's too big.
How would you play with it though?
I don't know.
That's what I have to think. It's like Smaug. They were talking about Smaug today in the seminar. About how the base makes it unusable. I was like, where's the base make it? The whole thing is so massive.
Yeah, that was more
you
just
put it
in
on the
regard
board and
to.
go, there you go, done.
Well, in regard to
move it, are you? Why would you move it?
It's in regard to the specific mission, isn't it? That's what they were referring to.
Yeah.
But how many people are playing that mission for that to be a problem?
Yeah.
With that model.
Yeah, it's just like
But then that
you know
dragon's
what
not
you're
gonna
getting
be
into when you're buying that dragon.
I think for me, it's always been a collector's piece rather than
More
something
so
to
than
game with.
anything else.
I mean, you want to take it to a tournament. I'd be dead scared if I had to move that somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the main reasons why I haven't thought about the Forge World Giant with any degree of seriousness, because it's quite tall. And I knocked bottles of Coke over in my front room. That was just getting ruined. I'd reach across the table and his head would go flying. It'd be tragic. But that's not happening.
It'd be like the Kaitan,
Yes, it would be other kinds.
constantly getting destroyed and rebuilt.
But made of resin, so a lot harder to rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's most of it.
I can't believe that's it. I
Yeah,
feel like-
it seems like... I think probably because we don't actually know a great deal about the rules part yet
No.
and the impacts on our armies. We have seen some very nice models, but we don't know what they actually do. We can theorise. There's a guy with a very cool little... Are they called sextants?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's flipping ace.
He's part of the gun team.
Yeah,
isn't he?
looks really good.
But what's interesting looking at them is that there is a lot more Stormcast there than there would be in a box set. If you got all of that in the box set and all the depth that they had in the box set.
Well, they've already said it's a new chamber entirely, haven't they? So
Yeah.
Well, and also a few beady-eyed people have pointed out that some little groups of about 4 have very similar bases to Shadespire.
Yeah.
So whether we're seeing potentially Shadespire,
in. Yeah.
the next Shadespire mixed in, who knows?
That would be cool.
So, Mortal Realms. Is that it? Are we done on Mortal Realms?
I think we are.
Would immortal.
you don't think
Dan Worsley is nodding at me and he's like Mortal Realms man, so...
We can talk about Blood Bowl quickly, because there's a load in Blood Bowl.
They're not in the Mortal Realms, are
They're
they?
in the what? I don't know what they.
fantasy?
Fantasy universe.
Oh, sod it. Let's talk about them. They're awesome.
Okay, we can talk about Blood Bowl.
We have to mention the Orc cheerleaders. Right?
We do. Absolutely stunning likeness of my mother-in-law.
Oh, I'm not editing that out. They are amazing. I love the background that we were talking about them. The fact that they made them specifically bigger than the boys.
Yeah,
So
they bully them into winning the game.
Yeah, I love that.
So we saw awesome cheerleaders, really good. Dark Elf cheerleaders, a bit sinister.
Dark Elf team.
Yeah, with the head as a pom-pom.
Dark Elf team, yes.
Dark Elf team.
Just in the cabinet, that was great to see. Mutations for the Chaos team were in there. Chaos cheerleaders with cool like Chaos stars.
And then the human cheerleaders.
Human cheerleaders.
The elf character, star player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Elf.
There's
And the
twins.
twins are coming up
And the
soon.
Dark Elf
Yes.
star player.
Yeah.
We're just listing so many things here.
Elf cheerleaders as well. Elven Union cheerleaders.
Yep.
Yeah, but they didn't have the models for those. They're still in the computer sculpt stage, but they're really nice too.
Yeah, it's the same for the twins, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and the armoured troll, which I really like the look of, because when that troll, I love the Blood Bowl troll, but it is really distinctive. It's when you have 2 of them on the team, it does look wrong. So the fact they're doing an alternative, I'm really happy with that.
There's a third though as well. Oh, is he a giant? What's the one with the halfling?
He's an ogre.
He's an ogre, he's a star player, isn't he?
Yeah.
There is an ogre as well.
Yeah, they're separate
ogre.
ones. But,
But
and
you
then
can't use forks.
No.
they also announced for catching up with the cards for the other teams, like the dwarves and that, didn't they?
Still haven't mentioned the
Why is it that
goblins.
the goblins are last? It's like the Benclex goblins. We'll leave those to last. You got goblin cards. Yep. So, and new boards. I
Yeah.
really like the Dark Elf board, where one side was the ship deck, and on the other side was the ship deck, but the ship was sinking and the Kraken monster coming up over the.
And I love the idea they just carry on playing Blood Bowl.
And the rules to go with it as well.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a lovely game. But it's a sneaky game as well, I think, Blood Bowl, because you think, and maybe normal folk would be okay, but you'd think, oh, you only need 11 to 15 models, so just knock them out quick, and then, there's only 8 turns to each sort of play, I suppose, or whatever they call it. So 16 altogether, just knock through it quick, board game styly. But it isn't like that at all.
No.
You really have to invest in it, like time-wise. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's lovely. It's like the Chaos team I was looking at today. And I really want them. Especially, I really want the cheerleaders. Certainly more than I want the orc cheerleaders. But the less said about that, the better. But I'm like, oh my goodness, it's taken me like 17 years to get this orc team painted, so I'm not buying another team until they're done, at least.
Well, I would like to see more gubbins there. More referees.
Oh yeah,
more coaches.
We've got Bugman coming, haven't we?
Bugman's
His rules
wicked.
are fantastic,
So
aren't
starts
they?
as a coach, and then if you're losing, gets knocked off.
Gets drunk,
Starts
and
getting
charged onto
Comes
the
on as a
board.
player. And they're thinking of releasing a version where he streaks, which is
Yeah, he's got ends of the game. He's drunk so much. That's it.
They should do a model of him just face down, passed out on the floor. That would be great. That would be great. Right. What rounds?
So onto the community section.
We shall go through the round game. See what I did?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's only taken you 22 episodes to get.
Thanks. Right, hail to the community. Okay, listeners, welcome to the Hail to the Community. So, the pod thunders ever onwards, probably on the sort of dregs of its ability to keep going.
Vapours.
Vapours now. It's been an exciting day. Obviously, we've been surrounded by community all day, which has been great. But as normal, we like to focus a little bit on what's going on back in our lovely old Southwest. So Ben continues his diligent work, updating all the events, which is great. So we'll have a look through, see what's going on over the next couple of weeks. Don't forget, please do contact us. You can get to us through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, of course. We also have the 2P's podcast at gmail.com as an email address if you want to send over any information about
you can
that.
access that via the website as well. So
Yeah.
there's forms on that.
And also, it's worth saying that whilst we like to talk about events in the local area in the southwest of the UK, we know you guys are listening all over the place, which is really good of you. So we'll put anything up, won't we?
Absolutely.
Well, anything Warhammer related. The Froome
cricket schools and stuff.
Cricket schools, maybe not. But the Froome cheese show, I'm tempted to start promoting because I quite like cheese, but
yeah. Could do that.
Yeah, we can do a cheese episode.
We've done quite a lot of food, really.
Yeah, that's true. Very full. Right, anyway, on to some events then, mate.
Well, should we, following on from last podcast, we were talking about painters or hobby or podcasters or bloggers that we wanted to give shout outs to on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, I'd like to give a shout out to Rodrigo Acora. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, dude, but he's a painter who posts a lot on Instagram. And we first came across him painting the Shadespire Chaos Dudes from the Starters kit. He's really, really nice non-metal metallics and really, really nice skin tones. So they immediately caught my eye. And I'm just a huge fan of his style, actually. So the most recent one he's done is a Khorne, one of the new Khorne chaps from the, what are they called? Big Armoured Dudes. And back to that again, from the Shadespire.
Magor's Fiends?
Yeah, them. That chap, with a kind of green theme to him, and I really like that. doing something different. So if you haven't heard of him before, I'd check him out because he does some really superb stuff. And really interesting colours as well. So orcs in pinks and blues and just adding in colours that you wouldn't think to use quite a lot of the time. So I'm a really big fan. And bloggers, you have mentioned a chap on our Facebook page. Did you use one of them? The Devil and Mud.
Oh, of course, yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
Paul is doing Too Much Devlan. So he is blogging about his hobby adventures. Last month he did 30 days of painting miniatures. 30 models in a month it was. 30 models in 30 days, which he did. He's painting Horde of Zombies now. What's really cool is Paul paints a range of things from across a range of ranges with a range of products. I think he's using a load of Coat the Arms paints at the moment. I meant to have a look. So, really worth following. Very, very passionate. It was fantastic. When I worked in Bath Games Workshop with Paul, and we had an absolute whale of a time working together. Really, really great guy. So definitely worth following that. He's on Facebook for certain. I think he's also on Instagram and Twitter probably.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Yeah, so,
well, it's definitely on Instagram.
Yeah. So, yeah, really worth following. Although I would disagree with him and say I don't think you could ever have too much Devlan.
No, it's a shame it's gone.
Yeah.
It is a real shame.
It should have been stockpiled.
Typhus Corrosion, if you get the bits out, is an ace wash.
Yeah. You love those technicals, don't you?
I do.
So passionate about those technicals.
So there's our two kind of podcasters, bloggers, as it were, for the week. And so should we move on to the calendar? So again, it's a really busy time of the year, isn't it? I mean, this weekend is phenomenal, really. South Coast GT, Legionary. Legionary looks like it's going really well. The Curtain have done some stuff there, which has been really cool. Some events that I hope went well. And Shades of Chaos have been demonstrating Outlands, and that looked really good as well. It's quite good to see Ross getting beaten up by a child in the photograph today. That was quite excellent. South Coast GT, I haven't seen anything about that. I've been so focused on Warhammer Fest that I haven't seen any pictures from that, but that's always a corker. So, guys, I hope that went well. If you went to that, I'd love to hear about it. So please send us stuff. So coming up, we have the London GT next week, which is a big one. Is going to be the they want to make it the Adepticon of the United Kingdom, which would be wicked. And it sounds like they've pretty much got something going for every game system. Inquisitor, Gork and Walker, anything they can think of. They had Mario Kart kind of game there last time, which they've expanded on. So that's pretty cool. And if you don't know them, Sustained Fire, which is a podcast in Plymouth, they are going in force, and they've hosted their armies today. Looks really, really good.
Yeah, Andy's Chaos look fantastic.
I love the fact that he's done another set of Eldrakes.
Yeah.
This time they're a Nurgle, so it's a Nurgle, I mean. So, yeah, South Coast GT, London GT, sorry. So, otherwise, there is a Curtain Blood Bowl game, which is, I really wish I could go to that then, because I'm super excited about Blood Bowl at the moment.
So, the following weekend, 25th, 26th, is the Warhammer 40k campaign weekend at Warhammer World. That's a follow-on from what we did.
Really? What, Cerberus did?
Yeah, I really had hoped to go to that, but 2 weekends away in 1 month just isn't fair, really.
No.
Got to spend some time at home. There's also the weekend after the UK Games Expo. So, certainly I'm planning to go up on the Sunday, just want to have a look around, see what's there. Games Workshop are going this year, so that'd be interesting to see what they show off. Be interesting really to see if there's anything new to show off after so much has been shown.
I've seen more of like the WizKids kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's all up there. Yeah, so that's why it's quite interesting to go.
You've gone a bit ahead of yourself.
Yeah, but I'm just reading out one scene.
Okay, so on the 20th of May, going back 2 weeks from the expo, following on from Curtin's Blood Bowl tournament, you have on the following day Bristol War Games Club are doing a tabletop sale, and there's the Pandemic Regional. So Pandemic is a game, and that's being held at Curtin Games too. I don't know, I've never played Pandemic. Have you seen anything about it?
No.
No. It's also Curtin is just like becoming a hub.
Yeah, doing loads of stuff. So we've been to visit Curtin since we last spoke. Fantastic venue, really, really cool. I love the ceiling. I know that sounds weird, but I just love the sort of ye olde feel of the ceiling.
Yeah.
And they're getting some banners done as well, which fit that theme. The tables are really well constructed, and there's a real passion to get the scenery up together and get it built, scratch built, and looking nice, and suitable amounts of it for all the events. The store is quite well stocked as well, and very nice. And it's one of those things where it's a bit like we said about Big, when I was speaking about there, they've started in the place and they're constantly looking to improve it and work on it and get it better. So really encourage you guys, if you are in the area able to get there, go to some of these events, because it all helps and it continues to grow what is a fantastic hub and resource. Especially because, probably sounds funny to our American listeners, where there is actually real distance between places, but in round Crediton, where they are, you can imagine hobbyists are quite spread out, and to have a hub where they can come together is really, really important. So supporting it to keep it there, really, really key. So they're doing their side of it, I suppose, by investing in the venue and putting on the events. It'd be really good if people do their side of it as well by going there, supporting them, going along to the events, giving feedback as well, telling people about it. So, really good if you're in that area, or a little bit further afield, nice place.
People come down from Weymouth to play in the Age of Sigmar tournaments.
Yeah.
On Age of Sigmar tournaments, they have an Age of Sigmar tournament, Blood, Death and Vengeance, on the 26th of May, which is the following weekend, and the same weekend is the Tenebris follow-on.
Yeah.
So that's the 26th and 27th is the Tenebris follow-on. We really enjoyed the Tenebris event, actually. I don't know if there probably isn't going to be tickets for that one coming up we're talking about now.
Even if there was, I can't go to...
No, I mean for people listening.
Oh, I see.
But, they're really good events. It was incredibly well run, and the scenery was great. And there's a really nice atmosphere, and I know it sounds daft, but sometimes you can go to events and it can feel really jobs worth. But they were just so energised and going around the tables and talking to people and bringing the energy level up that it was a really fun event. So I would have liked to have gone on to the follow-up of that, but it's exactly like you said, we can't do too many in 1 month. And then, like Dan has said, the UK Games Expo, which is going to be interesting. Look at what they're going to bring out there. So there's a couple of Friday night stuff going on at Games Workshop Truro, which they post up as well. So there's Age of Sigmar events happening every Friday night. Yeah. For the next couple of weeks. So worth going on their Facebook page and having a ganders. And probably last thing that looks like is Vanquish 2018. It's on the same weekend as the Games Expo. Do you know much about Vanquish?
No, I don't, which is strange because I...
Run by Bristol Vanguard?
Yeah, so I know Bristol Vanguard. I know of Bristol Vanguard, and they run some good and fairly large events, and they have an excellent set of Wargames terrain. That's something I do know. But other than that, I don't know a great deal, so maybe it's something I should put some research into being in Bristol.
Yeah, definitely.
But lots of people go along. And I think have you got the venue there? Is it big?
Hang on a second. Vanquish 2019. Sorry, guys. Bristol Vanquish. Oh, yeah, I think it is big.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it
It
is.
is big, yeah. So, Bristol and Bennett Gaming.
So yeah, no
so
chance
for
to go on
40k
there.
player, that's a really big event for there.
Yeah.
Southwest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worth doing.
Yeah.
So that rattles our way through. It's difficult to keep up, like we said before, with so many awesome events. So if you are running an event, and we know that there's loads of venues out there, it's easier for us to keep up with the varied venues like Terra Games, Curtain, Big, Mad for Miniatures, and Barb's in Redbury. The events for venues is reasonably easy because you guys, thank you, post your events up quite regularly. But if you're a club and you're running an event, sometimes that can be a bit harder to pick up. So please let us know, because we really want to keep the calendar up to date. Because loads of people give us good feedback about it, and we know people are looking at it. So it also helps you guys plan good weekends to have your events on when no one else is doing anything.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll now move on to the community. And we'll get the guys back in.
We're in the community.
That one's you tell us.
What is going on?
Go on to the wilds.
So, we shall go into the wilds. We'll go and grab the guys, bring them back in, chat about some wild stuff. Woo!
And go to bed.
And go to bed.
Definitely.
Cheers, guys. See you in the wilds. Born to be wild.
Right.
Is there something on the floor over there?
2,
Yeah.
Good. I was worried that you were just in a stupor.
1.
What?
Just raises more questions.
Hi, welcome back to Into the Wilds, and we're going to fill with a little bit of Middle Earth and a little bit of a new card game that we tried today. So which one should we do first?
Middle Earth.
Middle Earth. So we went to the Middle Earth seminar today, and one of the things I was really excited about is how much energy there was for Middle Earth in a game system that has effectively been, I don't want to say it too strongly, but it has really been dead, hasn't it, for a number of years, until 2 years ago they started to really invigorate it with the team, which we were talking about.
When Adam took over the
When
team.
Adam took over. And now they started to get little bits of stuff, and then we've recently had the Middle Earth Battle Companies, which we've been tinkering with in the Hobbling Gaming Group and really loved. The scenarios are excellent. If you haven't seen them, guys, it is a really good narrative set of scenarios in there. So I think it's going to be wicked. But now I feel like something huge about to happen. I know they've hinted that they're going to be a new rule book, but I think it's going to be more than that. I don't think we're going to see a plastic box set, but I think we're going to see a lot of Lord of the Rings coming up with. Because they definitely didn't give away many vibes of a plastic box set today.
No, I think from what Adam was trying to be quite clear, the fact that they just don't have the capability to do everything all at once, so they're going to be working through it. They did talk a lot about Pelennor Fields. We saw some of the miniatures today.
Yeah.
The new Knights of Dolan Roth. Oh, wow. And I echo, Adam was really clearly passionate about Knights of Dolan. To be fair, he was passionate about it all, and it's really nice to know that the guy there doing it, he genuinely has a real knowledge of the subject.
He loves it.
And he loves it.
Yeah.
But the Knights of Dolan Roth on foot just look incredible.
I love the characters, for me, were the ones that really caught my eye.
That tall guy.
Thingy the Tall.
Thingy the Tall, Thingy the Tall, he was cool.
We'll look that up. There's
Yeah.
5 of us in the room. One of us will know that, surely.
Like
With the big
And
sword.
Thingy the Shield, he was also cool.
Yeah, Thingy the Shield. So the guy who is the captain of the Great Perimeter Wall that you don't see in the film but read in the book, shield up, sword over the top, a pose that I really love in models because it looks really combat-y, like the guy knows what they're doing when they're fighting. So I like that a lot. But the sword, the thingy, the tool,
His name's not on the website.
is it not? Oh, that's a shame.
It's probably on there.
His models, because they've done one of him on foot and one of him on the horse. He is tall. They're saying that his sword is the same height as a normal person, which is astonishing, really. And I love the pose as well. It's not like any of the Lord of the Rings poses we've seen yet, I don't think.
No, you can see they said, didn't they, that it's their designer's first steps into digital, and if it's just first goes, they're brilliant. First go in digital design, and you can see
Here in the
the
top.
movement they're going to put into them.
Yeah, but he looks like a warden, so he's the gate warden. He's the one who lets people into the city. And he looks like, oh my days, you can tell it's the middle of the night. The god from Thor. Heimdall.
Ah, okay, yeah.
He's standing on the Rainbow Bridge with the big sword, like, no, you're not coming in, sorry. So I really like that. Really like him.
I really like the got the orc characters, the Mordor ones, the front that they've taken from the films. They look so good.
Yeah.
They look perfectly like the ones in the films,
Yeah,
don't
they
they?
do. Especially the one with the head on the head.
Yeah, I can't remember what they called his name. Was he the other one's the enforcer.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to
couldn't
name because of rights.
Which is just irritating, isn't it? They were Gurix and Gothmog's enforcer.
Yeah.
Gurix. So what they were basically saying is that they're now returning to Lord of the Rings, having sort of done The Hobbit for the time being, and they're fleshing out the big things that they wanted. They didn't get to do. So a really interesting thing that they were saying is the first time they'd seen the Mumma kill War Chief was when they went to the cinema to watch the film. So Games Watch didn't even know that character existed. They probably would have done a model for it, but they didn't. And so they're now able to go back and flesh out Pelennor Fields and flesh out Helm's Deep. Sounds like the next one they're going to do.
Yeah, they talked about that a lot, didn't they? And Osgiliath.
Osgiliath was mentioned a few times. I kind of think they might have done ruins for it, like.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they were talking
Well,
about.
it was interesting because I don't think you were the only one. Because in that, when the questions were being asked, there were a number of questions relating to scenery, and theme, and I'm not surprised because actually, right from its start, I remember in the very first Lord of the Rings rulebook, there was some really lovely maps of the scenarios you were playing, and a big part of scenarios, especially story-driven scenarios, is the setting.
Yeah.
So it would be really nice to see a few more things.
Like Amon Pen being back is...
Yes.
Yeah,
that's great. And Lord of the Rings is a smaller scale than the other games.
Yeah.
And there isn't a load of terrain crossover.
No.
So it would be nice to see.
Although ironically there is in reverse. As in the house, Fisherman's House.
Yes.
Is really good for just about any fantasy game you want to play.
Yeah. It would be nice even if they just did some Hobbit house fronts.
Or like a Rohan buildings. Mind you, one of the things I loved about the Lord of the Rings books is that every one of them told you how to make the scenery.
Yes, because those 3 original books, you could build anything you wanted. One of them had the full build, how to do to scale Helm's Deep in, so...
Why did we manage We all just paused and
Somebody did though, didn't they? Just one of the
sure
Games Days it was there, wasn't it? Was it Dad and his family did it? And then they got it on show at Games Day? I seem to remember that.
One of the things that I picked up listening to him talk about the captains was that one of the criticisms they had with The Hobbit was Legolas being like super Legolas. So he was harder than the previous iterations of Legolas, even though he was younger. If that makes any sense. Which shouldn't have happened. And they've now retconned that, they've gone back and they've changed the rules, bringing them more back in line. when they were talking about captains, and he had a very clear idea of where the characters were at, didn't he? He even had sort of like a captain level rule, and this is where this guy's going to sit, and this is where that guy's going to sit. So I just feel like they've got it by the scruff of the neck, and they're going to drive it forward and create something really awesome with it. So I'm hoping to see a little bit more tomorrow. But
you could just go and talk to Adam about it. I think if you get him so excited, he'll tell you what's going on anyway. There's a few times then he just had to check with Tony. What can I say?
One thing he did say that I liked a lot, he was trying to make it easy and convenient for people to play games in just about any setting of Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
So if you're expecting terrain, I'd say expect it to be quite generic
modular
and
yeah,
modular.
for the gamer.
Yeah,
They can
for
have
the
in a box
yeah.
and bring out and put on a table. Rather than those, because we watched that video of making the palisade wall for the Golden Hall. I don't remember the name of the Golden Hall, but that's a beautiful board and it's a great video. But that's a lot of shelf space, really, isn't it? You can't put that in a box. It's not a gamer's board. It's a display board, and really, Lord of the Rings has always suffered a little bit from that. But if you want to make Ammonhen or Weathertop or Pelin or Field, probably the easier one, but so the walls of Minas Tirith, that's a lot of effort to make that and make it feel like the film, because people want that to look exactly like the film. Whereas if you get the modular terrain right, you don't need to. You don't need to. So exciting times for Lord of the Rings. And the other thing is, it kind of caught me by surprise. I know they were talking about a card game for Age of Sigmar, and I kind of thought it was just going to be combat cards, Mark II. I don't know what you guys thought it was going to be, but today we played it.
Just the
Nothing
first
like
time
combat
I'd
cards.
even heard of it was when we walked over to it.
Really?
Yeah, I hadn't aware of it doing it, and then I didn't realise it was going to be a third party company as well.
Who was it? Something Fusion?
Yeah, some Fusion Games.
Where's the leaflet?
I
Play
think
Fusion.
what was
Yeah,
interesting,
there you go.
Yeah, Play Fusion.
this a collectible card game, and there's so many of them out at the minute. I thought it was going to be quite dull. And mechanics I've seen before, but actually they had a really simple rotation mechanic that was brand new and just hooked me in straight away. And I was just like, I could see myself playing a lot.
I liked the rotation mechanic because you could see something building up.
Yeah.
Like the magic missile
Yeah.
was no damage, 7. And they could see him getting nervous.
Trying to
about
work
it.
out what I was going to do about
So
it.
what happens when you rotate your card?
So different thing happens every turn, effectively. So in the corner, it tells you what happens. So damage-wise, for example, with the magic missile, it had X, which means nothing, X, which means
in every corner of the card.
and then 7. And every turn, you rotate
90
cards.
degrees. So you can turn it
that's
90
cool.
degrees, and whatever's in the top left, it does that. So when Ben played it, I knew in 3 turns' time, I was taking 7 points of damage, and just trying to rotate my cards through enough that I could deal with it, and in the end, I couldn't.
And your deck, obviously, was the deck they'd given you, but you could build a deck, hopefully, where you could find a way of countering that. So that's played. You could use some kind of magic dissipation.
That one was a generic one, because that one was in my deck as well. I just didn't get it till later on, so...
And there's going to be 4 factions. Well, that's what we've talked about. So the 4 Age of Sigmar factions: Order, Chaos, Death, and Destruction. It's going to have booster packs. I'd really like to play Space. So there's going to be a paper one in the box set, and that neoprene one is going to be something you can buy as an add-on.
But it's excellent because it's got all little pointers and stuff down the
rules
sides
down
of the rolls.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. I've sat down very sceptical because I enjoy playing Magic the Gathering, but I stopped because it is a bit like cardboard crack. It is, because you're constantly having to buy the new stuff to remain competitive, and you end up just sort of sitting there opening little foil packets and going, oh, have I got a rare card or a legendary card?
Yeah, that's what puts me off, because I think we said it, we're already into every part of Games Workshop can offer, and trying to keep up with that and releasing that, and then adding the card game in as well. It's just something else to try and keep up with.
Almost combat cards is the ideal solution, because it is a deck of cards.
Play within 5 minutes.
Yeah, that you can keep in your bag. This, I think, I think this is more about attracting other kinds of players.
I think they're looking at your Magic players, I think he used the example of Yu-Gi-Oh players and things like that.
Yeah.
So how long did a game take to play?
We didn't know what we were doing and it's finished inside half an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I'm thinking that maybe it isn't like a big thing I have to spend lots of time on. It's something I can get the app on my tablet and I can play,
because you can play
if I've
it.
got 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and then I can just play a quick sort of game in that time, and then not have to think, oh, it's my hobby night.
Yeah.
Am I going to play the card game? I can still carry on playing Age of Sigmar,
I think
and then do that card game in my spare time.
The problem with the app would be I don't know who I'm going to play against. So with the card game, I can play against you with starter decks. I might play against Billy Bob, who's brought 20,000 booster packs, built like the net deck, and I've just got starter deck A.
But then
And then
most,
first turn, he's just like...
with matching things on apps, it's usually they do it in some kind of level system, so you'll play someone similar to you.
So this is gonna. I didn't know anything about the app.
So the app, so if you
yeah.
every card that you've got, you can scan in, and it automatically goes onto your database on the
And
app.
the monsters have little summoning.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wicked. That is,
When we go in tomorrow, the screen next to it shows it.
You have avatars as well.
Yeah, so then it becomes whenever you have 20
So
minutes,
cool.
you can play a game.
Yeah.
And then if everyone has the app, then you can play against each other.
Because we all
or-
need more excuse to stare at our phone for 20 minutes.
Yeah, if you're in a bad tournament, get a game done.
I need one of them for iOS.
What an app.
No, the ability to just scroll through.
Yeah.
Do you see anything else kicking around today? Out on the peripheries?
We saw Chaos leggings,
Yeah.
which it would be a crime against humanity for me to wear, so I wouldn't be wearing those.
I
No
still
matter how
think you
much you
should.
try and make me
I'm
do
quite
that.
keen on the... Because they have like American football or hockey
Like
style
type jerseys.
jerseys with the Lehman Russ kind of armour.
I think leggings for charity.
No.
Everyone puts £1 in. How many listeners have you got?
Is this like-
You can raise a bit of money for
Yeah,
charity.
for all the people that were helped, there would be a number of people
That sounds brilliant.
scarred.
We could start a fund where people can pay to have you with the leggings, and people can pay to not have you with the leggings, and they can compete against each other.
Yeah.
And the money can
See how much money we raise. There we go.
That'd be superb.
I'd be up for that for charity. That would be quite
And
fun.
buy you a pair tomorrow, don't we?
Yeah.
There's new Warhammer Quest End Times app. being
That
shown
looks
off.
really good.
It is really good.
That looks
Yeah,
really
I-
good. He said it's only £6 or £8, and
Yeah.
that's like a region, and you have to pay more for each region. But it's
Yeah.
really nice, actually.
You get a good few hours out of each region. I've played quite a bit. I really enjoy it. It's a
Old
really
World
good
or
game.
Age of Sigmar?
Old World. Because it's the end time, so it's going into Age of Sigmar. So if they do another one, it might be.
So you feel sad playing a bunch of heroes. You think they're heroic, but actually it's all going to go to poop. And you
There's,
say,
I get a little bit of enjoyment out of it. Actually, 'cause all of this
It's all
is in vain.
morbid.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, you're going to be crushed.
Was the more time game there?
More time,
Yeah, more time.
and there was a more time app.
I've been
game.
playing a bit of that app lately.
That looks really good.
It is really good, and
Yeah.
you can bash out a game in more time in no time
Yeah.
in that, and you
I
can
really
play other
struggle
people,
with
play
the
AI.
PlayStation game.
It's
Gee.
fiddly,
Yeah.
isn't it? Deathwing was getting geared up for a console release.
There's quite a lot of
Yeah.
interest in that.
Yeah, they've
There's a lot of people
finally
having a look
got
at
it working properly. Deathwing, so going around in a space Hulk,
I thought it was out.
executing them. Yeah,
It
it's out
is,
on
but they're
PC,
bringing it onto console.
But, they're
Oh.
doing the remastered
Need it on
special
console.
edition for
PC.
consoles.
At the comic book stand, which you went and had a look
I
at.
did, and I picked up by Nick Kime the Blood Bowl comic, More Guts, More Glory, and it looks wicked. Flicked open the first page earlier, and it's already got the Blood Bowl humour that I really, really like. I can't show the picture because it's not television, but it's
That's a real good
it's an excellent picture. Nuffles Nards is oh dear, Nuffles Nards. That's a new curse phrase.
That's nice.
But no, that's
Oh,
pretty cool.
Nards.
I really like the the comics actually they've done, the Dark Angel ones. Will of Iron, I just bought that on my phone.
Did you get a refund?
No, because I don't have enough room to have them all. Unless I knock through to the house next door. Sort of take over their front room. Awesome.
Ultimate gaming tables.
Oh,
Ultimate
yeah,
gaming
they were
tables.
cool.
They were cool. I wasn't so interested in the table as I was the gubbins. So like the hanging over the edge bits.
Yeah, I like that.
You know it was built for Americans just by the size of the cup holders. They were ridiculous.
Yes, our American listeners, you guys have massive cups. Quote.
Oh. There's actually a smart looking jumper as well. A smart looking Warhammer jumper where it's just like the Aquila.
Oh
And
yeah,
there, sort
that
of,
was nice, wasn't
You
it?
parading around in your full Games Workshop get up.
Yeah, we're looking like Lehman Russ.
Yeah.
It's a bit gaudy, that's probably the only thing that's put me off a bit. I could only really wear it to
It is
to a club
insane.
night.
Can you imagine that?
Walking down the
Ben,
street.
are you ready? Are you ready? You coming downstairs doing that? No.
I am no. I'll have a look at those though, because I quite like the idea of something. Problem is with the Aquila Regal that small, is that the people kind of look at it and like, is that the Aquila Regal? So they sort of end up getting closer and closer until they...
But you know, someone's going to see it and just be like,
yeah. Of course it would burn him.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd put that on
They
and
don't
then
have
just
heritage
immolate.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, there we go. That's our little middle of Warhammer Fest ramble.
Yeah. So, thank you for joining us for episode 23. It's been very, very exciting, and I'm sure we'll touch again on everything we've discussed as it actually comes out. We've got it in our hands, especially Titanicus and Age of Sigmar, and probably the Necromunda stuff because you love that.
I do.
Blood Bowl stuff, yeah, probably all of it.
Yeah,
but especially Titanicus.
Yeah, especially. Yeah.
Great. So, it's been emotional. Not gonna lie,
We're exhausted.
probably just gonna fall off this bed that I'm sat on in a minute and just fall to sleep on the floor. The assignment. You can,
I'm
as
not
ever.
picking you up and putting you on the bed.
No, you don't have to. That's fine. I think, to be honest, you need some kind of insurance to cover your back if you try to pick me up. So, as ever, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
mail, email,
at the 2P's. Is it at the 2P's or at 2P's
at the
podcast?
2P's podcast.
At the 2P's
So you can
podcast.
tell you don't do any of it, can you?
Whoa! Look, come on, you can't say that on here.
Why not?
Well, because up until then they thought I did some. And I do some. I pop up every now and then to make a ridiculous chaos quote or poke fun at you.
That's true.
It's true. It's true. So, thank you very much. Put down the refreshments and probably go to bed.
What if they're driving a car?
Don't go to bed.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Cheers, guys.